Our guest today is Justin Chase. Justin is a nationally recognized leader in crisis services and behavioral health. He has also written a brand new book called Heartland Leadership. This is a great book with tons of stories. If you're looking to be an effective leader, then you must check this episode out. All right. Well, Justin Chase, thank you for being with us and sharing your time and also sharing your new book with us, Heart-Led Leadership, Inspiring the Workforce of Tomorrow. I really enjoyed reading this. I enjoyed your heart behind it, and I think it is so timely. But before we get into this, we want to know about you. So tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? All the things.
Yeah, I consider myself a near native of the Phoenix area.
Okay.
So originally born in Michigan.
Okay.
And but I've been here since I was 3.
Okay.
So
Basically,
a native, I think. So this is all I know. But I grew up here in the East Valley and just loved every bit of it, and had the opportunity after I got married to come back. And we've been in the Gilbert Queen Creek area now for 22 years.
Crazy. And you have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids, 19, 17, and 13.
Yep.
So
And almost 4 dogs.
I'll say 3.5 dogs, right? I'm a
Yeah.
part-time, I'm a dog grandpa now, which
Yeah.
is a whole new thing. So.
I love it. Tell us about what you do for a living.
Yeah, so my day job, I'm a CEO for Solari Crisis and Human Services. We're which I've had the blessings to serve as CEO for 11 and a half years. We're a nonprofit organization headquartered in Tempe, and we provide suicide and crisis lifeline work in 3 states, soon to be 4 states. So we support all of Arizona, Oklahoma, Colorado, and now we just won the contract in Arkansas.
Interesting.
nice, wow.
So
They're
then
not
we
even
provide.
contiguous.
There's one line
Yeah.
that connects. Thankfully, the Four Corners area
Yeah.
gets us connected. So if you look at it on a map, you'll see we're kind of circling a few other states that may have
Someday.
an opportunity
Yeah.
someday. So, but yeah, we're $94 million organization. I have almost 800 employees in 13 states. And
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's super interesting. Especially, I feel like we're seeing, the numbers are showing us at least that suicides are increasing, mental health, depression, and so there's a major need for what you're doing. How do you maintain your employees and keep them okay while they're having these conversations with these people in really hard places?
yeah, the staff on the front lines of Solari are the most incredible human beings I've ever met. What they're able to do on a day in and day out basis. They pick up the phone. They have no idea what's on the other end of that line. They are many times the last call that individual intends to make. And their life and death can really lay in the hands of that specialist on the other end of the line. So it's heavy for folks to carry. And so a big part of my job is making sure they feel supported and engaged. And they have a voice in how the workforce environment works and looks. And so we've been very much focused on environments, high touch, high engagement with their supervisors, making sure they have adequate time off and resources. We've got an excellent employee assistance program, gives each of our employees 12 free counseling sessions a year, up to 25 for them or their family members, and just being able to support them. But their ability to connect with each other, the camaraderie they build with the other people on their shift is just incredible to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. It does take a special person to be able to do that kind of work, right? To be able to
Absolutely.
have those hard conversations in those really difficult moments. Is that part of what led you to want to write this, or what brought you to the place of saying, I want to write a book? Was this like a bucket list? Like, I always have wanted to do it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so last year I crossed my 10-year mark in my role, and I felt I'd been on this journey and a lot of lessons learned. I was a first-time CEO coming into the role, and there was just, you got to kind of feel your way through and kind of figure it out. And I think there were lessons I picked up along the way that I felt I had a story to tell. If I could help somebody else that wanted to emerge into this space, be an effective leader, a few shortcuts that worked. And so I kind of compiled my life lessons and leadership lessons over that decade and beyond, my prior time as well, but really over that 10 years, and being able to say, I'm going to put pen to paper and just put it out there. Here's what worked for me. Here's what didn't work for me. And if you find a nugget in here that makes your life and your work a little bit better, that's all I was trying to do.
Yeah. So Justin, so this started with you having the idea of like, hey, I feel like I can do this pretty well. Maybe I should share it with others. Did it start out as like, I should write a book? Or was it one of those things where I just want to share this information? How did you get to the place of like, I need to sit down and write a book?
Yeah, so at about year 5, I was seeing, I was getting outreached for mentorship. People wanted to kind of learn and meet and so I was doing kind of a one-off meeting with folks and kind of sharing my kind of words of wisdom and failures that I had along the way as well that they could pick up from. And it just kind of evolved, and I was working on my development plan with my board of directors, and I'm like, you know what? I've thought about the last few years potentially writing a book, and I'm going to put pen to paper. And I put it in my development plan, so my board held me accountable to get it done. My supportive family said, we're okay with you doing nights and weekends writing a book. And so we set out to try and get it done in a year, and I was able to knock it out in 10 months.
So what did that look like, nights and weekends? Were you just in a room on your computer?
Yeah, my office is in my bedroom. Again, graciousness for my wife to allow me to take over a corner there.
Shout out to Sally. We love Sally.
Absolutely. And it was just nights and weekends. I completed my MBA program during COVID. And so I had kind of a routine and a cycle of getting school done while I was also working full time. And so I just had this itch. I'm like, you know what, I can sit on the couch, watch TV, or I can do this. And so kind of a rule around the house is my job is to be home for dinner with the kids. And then maybe after they go to bed, then I'll step away and start writing. On the weekends while they're doing their things and after their activities are done, then putting in a couple hours.
Was it ever for you like a writer's block, or were you so inspired all the time? Like how did you manage that?
It just flowed, yeah.
Over the years, I'd done like a keynote presentation or some other on a unique topic. And so I'd started clustering. Once I got the outline done, I'd really graded it out, and then I was able to say, you know what, this weekend I'm going to work on the Starfish Story. That was important for me.
That's actually one of the ones I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah,
It's a great one.
And the letter story experience that I had and how that framed out. So I would just sit down and just have it go. And so I had a lot of chapter segments laid out pretty well. I took 2 weeks off last winter and just wrote. And that was good for me to get the bulk of the framework done. My writer's block hit when it came to transitions.
Really?
So with my writing coach, we're kind of talking through, how do we,
connect.
and the editors, how do you connect? How do you flow from one to the other? What order do you put them in? That took me a lot more work than actually the content did.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
let's jump in. Maybe you can kind of give, or I mean, I can read some of your sections in here, but can you give us a synopsis about the book?
Yeah, so really the theme with Heartland Leadership was I've learned in my time, especially in an organization where we have a lot younger workforce, that leadership approach, management styles and approaches just didn't work for the younger generations. And I've been hearing for so long, millennials and Gen Zs, they've got to adapt to how we manage. And to me, it was like, we've got to flip that on its head. We have to change as leaders how we lead these populations and these age groups. And so, because they're the future, and they're not wrong. When you sit down and listen to them, they're not wrong. They want purpose, they want meaning, they want engagement. And for me, I'm lucky in the organization that I'm in that it's an easy mission to get behind. It's an easy topic for folks to sink their teeth into and be like, I'm committed to this. And then my job is to create the environment for them that they can thrive in.
Yeah.
And so it's just been this journey that I walked through, and so the theme of it was really, how do we engage our younger workforce and bring heart to the table, which I think we've gotten away from as leaders. As you move up in the management ranks, it's like you don't talk about your personal life. You get very rigid, black and white, and you're trying to balance empathy with production and outcomes. And it's so we hammer outcomes and performance more, and we slide in empathy whenever we can. And my experience and my views were just different. I took a Richard Branson approach of take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers, they'll take care of the services.
I love that. I've seen so many companies do the opposite.
Absolutely.
And it's to their detriment.
It's huge. And so for me, it was natural as a social worker, being able to use some of my clinical training and being like, we're going to start with a motivational approach. We're going to start with taking care of the employees and letting them take care of everybody else.
What's the biggest way that you have changed your leadership to adapt to them personally?
To me, it was about asking them, being upfront. Don't assume what they want or need. As much as I love writing a book, don't read a book and use that as your tool. Hopefully, a book leads you to ask more questions and open your eyes a little bit. And so for me, it was creating that environment where they want to be engaged, they want a seat at the table, they want to have conversations. And so to me, I identified low-hanging fruit that I could, things like dress code. We're in a call center for the most part. I don't really care what you wear to work every day.
Neither does the person on the other end of the phone.
Right. I want you to be comfortable. If you want to be in your bunny slippers and sweatpants, I don't really have a care as long as the service is being delivered to our highest capability. And so being able to empower staff on those basic decisions that historically were just very hierarchical driven.
I think you're right. I think your intro kind of captures what you were just talking about, and I want to read it, and then I have a question for you. You say, in today's rapidly evolving workplace, leadership is redefined as millennials and Gen Z become the predominant force in the workplace. Their expectations, values, and aspirations are reshaping professional environments. Unlike previous generations, they think more than just a paycheck. They desire purpose, connection, and a sense of belonging. To meet these evolving expectations, leaders must move beyond traditional models and embrace a more human-centered approach. And you go into kind of what you talk about. This was very eye-opening for me because I think the way I was raised was very old school in that, like, this is how it is. You show up, you do your job, like, we're here. And to be honest, like, my personality lends that self that way. Like, this is business. I've had to learn the hard way to really be intentional with my team members and show them that I care about them. Because when they feel like they're cared for and valued, they will work so much harder for you, right?
100%.
And so I think that was like a really cool thing for me in reading this. I forget what chapter it is. Oh, right here. Chapter 2, you talk about the Starfish Story. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so really used the Starfish Story really became my theme as I came into the organization. And when I started, I came the organization was not in a great place, and it was really had a history of using very boomer style management approaches with a younger millennial and Gen X population that it just wasn't meshing. And so so I came in and I said, I've really got to find a hook or a visualization of what it looks like. And so for me, the Starfish Story was just a clear representation of what that was. And it was easy for us because it's, the core message is that you can get lost in the numbers, and it's about making a difference at an individual level. And for us, we can look at metrics and data on how many calls we take, how fast we answer, how we resolve them. At the end of the day, these are life and death calls. Mm-hmm. And so each one is a critical relationship that we're trying to foster. And so much like the Starfish Story, you can apply that to your work. From a customer perspective, you also apply it to your employees. Mm-hmm. And so how do we adapt around you and what's unique about you? And because this is a relationship between the employer and employee, and the leader and the worker. And so really being able to provide some individualization there and a little bit of a customization really.
I love the idea that, you maybe can't fix everybody or be everything to everyone, but you can make a difference for that one person, and how powerful that can be, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that being a huge priority for you in that world. I'm curious, how do you celebrate the wins with your folks that help someone step off that ledge
Yeah.
and not do it? How do they celebrate that as a group?
This episode is sponsored by Matt Dallas with Stroll Seville. Thank you for watching the episode. You know, our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you.
You know, the teams get together, they engage in a virtual environment. The majority of our workforce is remote now, and so we have to get really creative in our virtual. We created a dashboard that, and so it's on their computers, that shows how, not just how they did that day, but how the team did that day. And so we start adding it up, and the source of that was I was working, and I had an individual in our IT department would stop by my office every morning, and he started asking me questions about the work. You know, he sees the data. He's like, oh, we took 800 calls yesterday. You know, I said, yeah. He's like, that equates to lives saved is in that number. He's like, how many do you think we saved the prior day? I'm like, well, if I were to look at it statistically, you know, so forth, it was maybe 200 of those. He's like, man, that's awesome. And he'd walk off with a big smile on his face. And every morning he started coming in and asking me, how many lives do you think we saved yesterday? And I'm like, you know, as I processed that, how much of an impact that made to him, I'm like, I don't think we really tell that story. I tell my board and I tell the public, but I really wasn't getting good at telling the staff the impact that they're making. And so we created a dashboard that shows them their performance of the prior day. And it shows, we have little heads that are on the screen. And one color, purple, means adults, green means children. These are the people that you helped the prior day. And it builds in a 24-hour window. So by the end of the day, you'll have 400 or 500 little heads lined up there. And then we have little cards if we send a mobile crisis team out, and how many kids, how many adults we helped the prior day.
That's so cool. Because I was thinking, and I'm glad you shared that about the IT person, because they're not the one on the phone having those conversations, but there's a lot of people in your organization that are in those types of positions where they don't get to see it, right? So I was just thinking, was it a few days ago, Taylor Swift, you can say what you want about her, but after this Eras tour, she gave $197 million in bonuses to the entire company, the entire staff. So the dancers, the truck drivers, all of them got some sort of bonus, which I think is really cool, because I think she was sharing the win that they had as a group.
The collective win that everybody plays a part on, yeah.
Okay, Justin, I was hoping you could kind of touch on these and give our listeners maybe a little synopsis of what you talk about in each of these areas, okay? So you say the essential components of leading with heart, empathy.
Empathy is bringing your true self to the table and allowing your staff to be who they are and bring that to the table, is meeting people where they are, however they present. And to me, it opens the door for more emotion, but also more passion that comes to the table. And so that can be positive and negative, but creating that safe space, you know, psychological safety of creating an environment where it's okay to have a rough day and to come in and be like, you know what, I don't need to like put my face on to come in here. Like, no, just be you, be real. I'll be real sometimes, and you be real when you need to. And
I love that. Okay, authenticity.
That kind of dovetails with the empathy component is being real, being able to open up, be like, I'm having a bad day, something happened, you know, being able to be vulnerable. I think is critical. And I go back to my Brene Brown reading, you know, The Gifts of Imperfection. I think was an eye-opening book for me to go through. And you know, you're taught in management is that you got to be rigid and you've got to be put together and you got to present yourself as perfect all the time and do not show weakness, because they'll abuse that or they'll take advantage of your weaknesses. And I've just never had that experience in a negative way.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because whenever I'll have a struggle or a difficulty and I bring it and share it with the team, they all like love it.
Right.
Because not that they wish me harm. It's not that. It's just because it's like, okay, you have struggles too.
It's real.
Right?
Yeah.
And they can relate to that. So yeah, I totally agree. Okay, humility.
Humility. To me, this one kind of comes natural, I guess, for me, how I was raised. I grew up in the church, and just being able to have, I'm in a position of power, not because I carved it out or I set out to do this. It was I've been lucky in I just want to make a difference. And in realizing that I walk the same walk everybody else does. You got to treat the janitor the same way you treat your executives. It is, I meet Jose every morning who's cleaning the bathrooms at our office, and he's the first person I greet when I come in the door. Because he is a critical part of the whole, and understanding that there is, my goal with my organization is it outlives me. It doesn't live and die with me. It doesn't, there's no one person or a group of people that, no, this thing is, I am lucky to be a part of it. I hope my journey continues there and I get to be, but I also know there might be a day that I'm not effective in what the organization needs and things need to change. And so just being humble and real with that is, give more praise than others may deserve, and take more of the hits than you deserve, and just let the ego go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jesus came to serve, right? Not to be served. And
Absolutely.
so I totally love that. Okay, next one, inclusion.
Inclusion is important. And where I frame this, for me as approaching is, I like to hire to my weaknesses and fill the gaps, and being able to be open to people that come from different walks of life, different experiences, life experiences. As a social worker, trained that the clinician looks like this, but a helper doesn't have to look like a clinician. And so I learned early in my career the value of peer support, the value of individuals bringing lived experience to the table can be far more effective. And I have to humble myself at times that if I'm working with an individual in a crisis situation, my clinical skills may fall short of what they need. And sometimes a peer walking in that's been like, I've walked there, I've been in your shoes, here's how I got through it. And just sometimes just sitting down with them, eye to eye, peer to peer, they can make such a great impact there that a clinician never could. And just being open to that. But also looking at how inclusive are we when it comes to individuals with disabilities? Making sure that we're creating an environment that individuals that struggle with, whether it's a learning disability, a physical disability, mental health challenges, a host of things that come in, is making sure that we're open and welcoming to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Last one, purpose.
Oh, purpose. I think for me, and I think for, again, what we're continuing to see with the younger generations, they want a purpose to show up to work, that they're part of something bigger than themselves. And so for me, it's great to be able to wrap around a mission and a purpose statement, whether it's an individual purpose statement you build for yourself of who you want to be, and how you want to be at the end of your life, what mark you leave behind, how you want to be remembered. Absolutely. And then from a leader, it's how do I create an environment where people can find purpose in it? And it can look a lot of different ways. The IT gentleman, he answered an ad on Indeed, and that wound up being how he got to the organization. He came in and become the biggest advocate for us. And just unique. And for him, it was, I'm going to be the best IT guy I can possibly be for this organization. And so when things got hard, when systems went down in the middle of the night on a weekend, we can't afford to be down on a weekend. We can't wait till Monday. Right. And so it's him rolling out of bed in the middle of the night, getting to our servers, getting to our equipment to put things back online, because he's fully invested in why we do it.
Yeah. I think that, to me, is one of my favorites, because I think when people buy into that collective purpose and understand that they play a super important part of it, but they have that buy-in to it, it changes everything. The agents on my team that do the best are the ones that are completely sold out for the way that we do business. They're just passionate about it, right? And our business is built around serving and giving back. And those are the ones that truly have that as their, that's how they live their life. They tie into that and they just do so well. So I think when you know what your purpose is and in different places of career, different phases of life, right? That can change. But when you know that, it really helps to make it worthwhile because it's going to be hard at times, you know,
Absolutely.
especially in kind of field that you're talking about. But in any field, there's hard days too.
Absolutely.
All right, who is, Justin, would you say is the person, your audience that benefit from reading your book?
Yeah, I think existing leaders that are struggling to connect with their younger workforce and emerging leaders, and I use leaders not in a title, but in a drive
Yeah.
to be a leader, and how you don't need a title to be a leader, but
It's a good book.
it is. And so being able to paint a trajectory that you can be a leader from any point of view. I think there's, again, it's things that I wish I would have learned as a young executive, growing up professionally in these roles. And so any emerging leader, anybody who wants to engage more with our upcoming workforce.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it. I think if I would have learned some of these lessons earlier in my career, it would have saved me a little bit. So, I appreciate it. All right. What didn't we ask you that we should have asked you?
Oh, you got to the why, why we do it, and then kind of what comes next. For me, I think the process of writing was far more therapeutic than I expected.
Really?
Interesting.
Putting pen to paper and being able to, it really helped solidify my identity in a way I hadn't thought. And so by the time I got to the end of the book, it was, you know what? If this sells, great. But if it doesn't, I still feel accomplished.
Yeah.
I put it out there and put it out in the universe, and it was, let it be what it is.
Yeah.
And if it brings, one person a nugget, great. But if not,
If you help one person, right?
that's it.
That's super cool. It's got to feel super, you got to feel proud and accomplished for having done that, because this is a really cool book.
Well, and you didn't just write a book. You had your book featured in Times Square, which was that had to have been the coolest thing.
That was huge. Being able to have the family out with me in
Yes.
Times Square, to be able to see it plastered up on a screen, and that was really cool.
That is awesome. Okay, Justin, we love to end with a little rapid fire speed round questions. Are you up for it?
All right, bring it on.
All right, favorite color?
A shade of purple.
Oh, a shade. Is this a
Yeah.
dark
Yeah.
purple?
It's a dark
light
purple. It's
Really?
a dark purple. Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
When I was younger, I had a drum set that was this purple color
Nice.
that was just gorgeous.
Like a pearl or something? What was it?
It was a pearl.
Okay.
Yeah. And it
Ryan
was,
played drums.
Yeah, back in the day.
and it was beautiful, and it stood out to me. It was something unique and a little
Love
different.
it. And your son
I'm surprised
plays
there's no
drums,
purple
right?
on
Or
it.
is it drums or
He plays the tuba.
the tuba? Yes, that's right. That's awesome. But keeping the musicality in the family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your daughter's a
A
dancer.
dancer, yeah.
Okay, favorite drink?
I am a passion fruit unsweetened iced tea.
Interesting.
Passion fruit. Hello.
Okay.
If it comes with QT, it's even better.
Oh,
So
I do love a
I lived in
QT
the
drink.
Dominican Republic for a while, and they called it chinola, but it's my favorite juice ever. Passion fruit.
Passion fruit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow, that's so rare to hear
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite food?
Mexican.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
that has to be one of our most popular answers.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite book? I'm sure this is top of the list, but
Apart from my book,
Yes.
Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
yes.
Okay.
Why do you like that one?
It dives back into purpose, and it to me it was an eye-opening experience. I just love his approach.
I love that. Do you have a favorite podcast?
Ooh, this one clearly is my
yes,
favorite.
yes.
So,
What about a favorite sound?
a favorite sound. I mean, my radio is probably any musical sound that comes out.
Okay.
There's I don't know, to say there's a tone or anything in specific, but no, I love music, so.
Okay, I'm interested to hear the answer to this one because you guys have traveled a lot. Do you have a favorite vacation?
Favorite vacation? Europe was really, we did Paris and London, and that was really powerful for my daughter's graduation. But then I caveat that with the secondary. We did a 3-week during COVID RV tour.
Oh, wow.
We had a motorhome at the time and just took it with the kids for 3 weeks, and we hit up 9 states, 11 national parks. Like, it was.
That's cool.
That was epic.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Hearing so many families say that their like family road trip was one of their most favorite vacations inspired us to do it, and it's truly one of our most favorites too, just in the States. So note to everybody listening, take your family on a road trip. All right, last question. What do you want to be known for?
Ooh, honestly, just being a good person. You know, that's it. Doesn't have to be more than that.
That's awesome. Justin, thank you. Where can somebody find your book if they are wanting to buy this?
Yes, you can get it in all formats on Amazon. And so your Kindle version, audiobook, hardcover, paperback is all available on Amazon.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Can't
the time.
wait to hear everybody's success stories. You got to read it, Ryan.
I
It's
know,
a
I'm
good
excited.
one.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.